ITS keeps moving forward in facing future challenges by providing the best facilities for the new generation's activities. The facilities support both spiritual and physical needs. ITS also provides research facilities in the ITS Science Technopark, including ICT and robotics, automotive, maritime, and creative industries. Therefore, the excellent generations from ITS will emerge and make history. ITS is a space for the new generation to express themselves. ITS is a place where the new generation learns new things and finds their purpose. ITS has become a place where the new generations that carry the future will be born.
ITS is a campus of science and technology, which focuses on the research and innovation, presenting technology for prosperity.
With a spirit of heroism, ITS brings the future before us. ITS, the University of Heroes.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start commence the program, and here are the following webinar protocol. For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event. We cordially invite you to take your own firm and comfort seat in your own room, and please avoid the backlight. Make sure that you have a good and stable internet connection. If you have an earphone or headset, we recommend you to use it so that your voice can clearly and loudly to be heard. During the Q&A,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our researcher and research student enrichment program today. Before we start our agenda, let me reinform the webinar protocol to join this event. First, please adjust your name or ID screen using the given format on the slide. Second, during the event, please turn off your audio and only turn on the audio when the moderator gives you the chance. Third, turn on your camera. Fourth, ensure your network has a stable connection. And 5, adjust the seat position comfortably and prevent the backlight effect. I will also read out the important information for today. Fill in the attendance form on this link that will be present on the chat box. Also, fill in the feedback form shared 15 minutes before the session ends and close after 1 hour. Attendance and feedback is compulsory for these purposes. First, mandatory attendance for ITS master and doctoral students, new intake. Second, certificate of participation eligible for international participants who have 80% attendance, minimum 7 meetings. Third, stamp for it, eligible for ITS undergraduate students. Welcome to the Researcher and Research Student Enrichment session on today, Thursday, the 11th of November 2021. I'm Dania from ITS Global Engagement, and today I will be your Master of Ceremony for this session of R2SEP. You are now participating in science stream of R2SEP. Please do not forget to fill your attendance at the link that will be sent by our committee via the Zoom chat room. Today's lecture theme in the science stream of R2SEP is titled Research Management Skills, which will be delivered by our speaker, Mr. Jerry, and Dr. Arif Lukman will be the one conducting today's session as our moderator. Before we start our agenda, allow me to deliver our schedule today as follows. Opening, introduction to the moderator and speaker, the lecture session, Q&A session, certificate awarding, and closing of R2SCP. Next, let me introduce our moderator for today. Our moderator today, Dr. Arif Lukman, who is also a lecturer at the Department of Biology at ITS. For his educational background, he got his doctoral degree at Eberhard Karl Universität Tübingen, Germany, Master of Engineering, Institut Teknologi 10 November, and Bachelor of Science in Biology, Institut Teknologi 10 November. His academic and professional experience, lecturer and researcher, Department of Biology, Institut Teknologi 10 November. For his research interests are microbiology and bacteria-host interaction. Now that you are informed about our moderator, without further ado, let's proceed to the main agenda. To Dr. Arif, as our moderator, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Dania, for the nice introduction. I also thank you for inviting me to be the moderator in this nice talk. So as Ms. Dania already explained or described, that today the talk will be about the topic is about the research management skill will be delivered by Mr. Jerry Cuadrado. And before proceeding to the talk, I will read the CV from the speaker. Yeah, this is the CV from the speaker. Mr. Jerry Cuadrado did bachelor and also master in Caraga State University, and his master degree has a specialization in ecology, and he is now a instructor and also research coordinator in College of Arts and Sciences, Surigao State College of Technology, Philippines. And his research interests are biodiversity, freshwater ecology, water quality, and also conservation biology. So without further ado, we can just proceed directly to the talk. Please, Mr. Cuadrado, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Arif, for that introduction. So I am going to present to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I would like to extend my thanks to the Institute Technology 10 November, especially to the rector, Dr. Muhammad Ashari, and to the director of ITS Global Engagement, Dr. Maria Anichasari, and also to the R2SEP committee, particularly Dr. Nabila, for all the communications. And I would also like to thank my institution for having me this opportunity, to our president, Dr. Gregorio Zigamboa, and to the director of the International Affairs Office of our institution, Ma'am Loela Digamon. This afternoon, I am tasked to talk or to give talk about research management skills. It is in my knowledge that there are participants who are already taking up their PhD, thus with more relevant experience in terms of research. So in this presentation, I'll be talking more on research management skills based on literatures and of course, based on my experience, how I surpassed the challenges during doing research in my graduate studies. So at the end of this presentation, the participants are as stipulated in the program, must recognize various challenges and possible problems that may impede the study and research process. And of course, to understand ways and methods to solve the issues through better research management skills. So accordingly, research is systematic and exhaustive inquiry, investigation, or experimentation with the aim of finding new facts, that is knowledge, and explaining the problem associated with our day-to-day relations with our environment, may it be social, political, economics, or physical, to come up with working solutions in facing these problems. It also deals in bringing in something new or novel through analytical reasoning in which the product is an organized knowledge. So why do we need research or why research? First is to develop critical thinking. Of course, the very reason why we are doing research to generate knowledge and to come up with solutions to a certain problem. Okay, so if science is a body of organized knowledge that we can use in explaining our day-to-day relations with our environment and the problems associated with them, then it is also a product of research. And when this organized...
Excuse me, Mr. Jerry, maybe could you please make your
Yes,
PowerPoint to be in slideshow mode?
Is the slide not running, sir?
Sorry?
Okay.
Your PowerPoint is not in the slideshow mode. Maybe could you please make it in the slideshow mode so we can...
Okay, I'll try. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
That one, sir.
Yes,
It's
now
already...
you can see it clearly. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let us proceed. So when these organized bodies of knowledge are put into useful objects, processes, and or outcomes, then technology becomes also an outcome of research. So what we have today, may it be science and technologies, social, political, and economics, these are all products of research. The knowledge we gained from the relationship that humans has to other animals are products also of research. So such as the sources of coronavirus, which are bats, and that we should live in harmony with these animals. So one of the significant findings of the today's pandemic is that we should live harmoniously with our environment in order to avoid again of such pandemic. So if research is the continuous search of knowledge which are put together into important objects and process, which is the technology, then the act of putting them together to improve human lives and his environment refers to development. So because of research, medicines and vaccines are developed. And the development of the vaccine against COVID-19 is a breakthrough in science, since the development of this vaccine was completed in less than a year compared to other pandemic that devastates the world of human. So again, why research? So prosperous countries are scientific powerhouses. So such as in the figure, European countries, the USA, Canada are developed countries and they engage more in research. So in Asia, the figure we have in the figure we have the Singapore, the Japan, and they are prosperous countries and they engage more in research. In Southeast Asia, no, sad to say, that uh, research is not as established, in part of the Southeast Asian countries, aside from our neighboring, which is the Singapore. So in this figure, the government, of those prosperous countries, are spending more their GDP, on research and development. They have this sufficient budget for research and development. So in Asian, we have Korea and Japan. And if we are going to look at Korea and Japan, they are prosperous countries. And in terms of researchers per population, sad to say that in my country, for instance, there are only one researcher per 7,977 population. Or in Indonesia, there are one researcher per 2,248. As you are going to compare this with prosperous countries, such as in Japan, Singapore, US, and Canada. So it means that we are running out of researchers. And that is why we need to do research. For instance, here in the Philippines, according to Dr. Jesmos, one of the known herpetologists in the country, in my country, more or less, there are unnamed 168 herpetofauna that are the amphibians and reptiles. However, there are only two taxonomists, with that field. One of which is Dr. Jesmos and Dr. Alcala, which is already a retirable researcher. So, as young as we are, we need to conduct more research. Okay, so however, as it is said by Dr. Craig Winter, a doctor can save maybe a few hundred lives in a lifetime. A researcher can save the whole world, such as what the researchers do when they are saving the world through discovering the COVID-19 vaccine. The world is facing different problems every day. So my country and your country may have different problems, maybe it's social, political, economic, and environmental. And particularly, our battle against climate change and the pandemic. The world needs researchers. Your country needs researchers. And my country as well, young researchers like you and me. So may we be neophytes in research, but surely we can contribute significantly to our respective country. However, doing research is not as easy as we think. Challenges and difficulties will always come along our way. Money and time, particularly those who are working students, they are working while studying. Money and time will always be our enemy, especially to those who are pursuing graduate studies, and are working students. Accordingly, research is like searching a black cat in a dark room by a blind man. So how can a blind man search for that cat in a dark room? This is a personification with doing research. Okay, so with this, I will going to present first the difficulties encountered during the scientific research process in graduate education. So, according to Accuric and Afakan 2018, in their study, no, entitled Problems Encountered During the Scientific Research Process in Graduate Education. These are the different challenges or difficulties faced, no, by the graduate students. With the highest percentage, no, is in methodology. Okay, this is where most of the students have difficulties in determining the method. Okay, for example, after formulating the research problem, determining which method to use and finding or developing the appropriate tools for this method, no, is one of the difficulties that encountered, no, by the participants. Another one is level of scientific knowledge. Okay, particularly uh, uh, if if uh, if we don't have sophisticated tools, no, in our institution, and we are not uh, uh, what do you call this? Uh, you lack, for instance, knowledge, of a particular topic in which you are going to pursue with. No, it could be also a difficulty, no, in doing research. Second one is problem with resources. It could be a monetary, okay, and for instance, the articles that you are going to use, no, are not available or are not for free. No, they are sold by some journals. And another one is we have this supervisor. No, when your idea, no, and the idea of your supervisor would not meet, no, this is a big trouble. Okay, so it is really important, no, that we have good relationship, no, with our supervisor or with our research advisor. According to Oman 2013, no, also, no, in their study, most of the participants, no, encountered these difficulties, no, during their graduate studies or in pursuing their research. First is we have time management. No, maybe this is true, not to all of us, no, that we have difficulties in managing our time. Now, as what I have said, particularly if you are a working students, no, such as my experience, no, I am pursuing my master's degree while teaching, no, in secondary education, no, in my country. So this is a difficult task, no, to deal. And stress management, no, when you are dumped with uh, requirements, no, both in your academic and working area, no, this would cause no stress, and one of the difficulties is how you are going to manage this stress. The third one is identification of researchable issue and construction of research title. Okay, another one is financial problem. Again, no, lucky for those, no, who have obtained or who have pursued their graduate studies, no, with scholarship. No, I think financial problem is not an issue, but for those who are doing their graduate studies, no, with I mean working students, no, this is a big problem, no, the financial problem. Next is constructions of interpretation, analysis, findings, conclusion, and recommendation. Patience of the researchers. No, our patience will always be tested, no, when we are doing research. Okay, and number 7 is determination, or the intention to finish deteriorates. No, as you are facing along with many difficulties, no, in pursuing your research, no, you feel like you are quitting. Okay, but let us remember, no, the sayings that goes that winner never quits and quitter never wins. And another one is limited period in doing or conducting the research. No, according to the respondents, no, these are the problems they have encountered, no, while doing their graduate education research. Another one is negligence in the application of corrections, which increase the printing cost of expenses. No, if you are not thorough enough, no, in reviewing your paper, no, if you overlooked the corrections of your research advisor, then this would be a problem. No, printing costs, no, or expenses will increase. Another one is conflicting interpretations between the student researcher and the teacher advisor. Okay, so this one, no, I do not know if our, no, if we encounter this one. I and Dr. Arif, I do not know if he encountered this kind of problem, no, conflicting interpretations, because we have different perspectives, no, our research advisor, no, they have different interpretations, so as with us we have different. And was as what I have said, no, a while ago, if this knowledge, or if this idea, no, will not meet, then it would cause us trouble. Okay, so another one is an experienced researcher. Okay, so particularly maybe this would happen, no, if you are doing research which is not or which are afar, no, from your field of expertise. But I guess this is just a minor problem, no, in experienced researcher, because we are have doing research, no, that is according to our field. And patience of the teacher advisor. Okay, so the patience also, no, of our research advisor will be tested. For instance, no, if we have these procrastinations, no, in the Philippines we have this mamaya na habit, or do it later. So the teacher advisor, no, always waiting, no, or where you are going to start, no, doing your laboratory or your field work, or where you are going to submit, no, your manuscript. No, this is also a a a factor, no, that could hinder. And let us not wait, no, that uh, the teacher, or advisor, or no, or our professor, no, will waive us, no, because of this factor, or of this procrastination. Okay, so those are the challenges, no, for me, no, in my experience while I am doing my master's thesis, or even in my baccalaureate degree while doing my thesis. My problem is always time and money. No, they are not my friend. No, time and money are always my enemy, because I am pursuing my baccalaureate degree as well as my master's degree as a working student. Okay, but patience, no, and perseverance, no, are my key, no, in order to succeed in doing my research. So how to overcome these challenges? No, I mean, the if you are if we encounter those challenges, no, while doing our graduate education research, no, these are the suggestions, no, of Dr. Peter Hawkins. First is motivation. Always give yourself regular rewards. May it be inexpensive materials. For me, how would I give myself a regular reward? I always buy things, no, that can motivate me. May it be such as handkerchief, no, as long as I can see new things around me. Okay, that is one of my ways, no, in motivating myself while doing my research, because doing research, no, is stressful. Okay, and plan your research projects and keep track of milestone achieved. No, you are going to track. Okay, I achieved this one. I already done. No, I have done my laboratory works. I have done my field works. Myself needs rewards. Okay, treat yourself. No, treat yourself. Uh, buying things, not particularly that you are buying expensive, as long as you can reward yourself, treat yourself. You have to dine in a restaurant or in a cafe. That's one way of giving yourself a reward. And writing motivation. This one, we have difficulties in writing. How to start our introduction, how you are going to start writing your results and discussion. And according to Zain et al. 2011, before start writing, we must carefully determine the goal of writing, because this goal determines the depth of each writing project. Do not write when your mind is not in good condition. Do not force yourself to write when you are tired, because if you are doing so, the result is not a good quality. It's not in good quality. If you are forcing yourself to write even you are tired, no, you are forcing to write yourself 12 midnight, because you have to finish some part of your research. For sure, the result is not in good quality. Okay. And a trusted mentor can be a good reviewer of the manuscript produced. That is why I have, as what I have said, that we should have a good relationship with our research advisor, with our mentor, because whatever we do, they are the ones who guide us, and we can do nothing, because we choose them, or we choose them, as our mentor or advisor. So there are universities, that before you will be admitted in that university, you will be accepted first by a research advisor. And another one, according to Zain et al., great writing requires high language proficiency, sorry for that, and the ability to process research findings that will have major impact on the reader. It requires high language. Okay. And also, this is what I did, or when I am doing my research. Before I am going to sleep, or before going to sleep, at least I write a paragraph, and after waking up, another paragraph. So if you are going to multiply that one, more or less, there will be 10 or 14 paragraphs in a week. So that one, uh, you can have or you can finish, or you can beat the timeline. If another one is, you are going to jot down, or you are going to list every important details or idea that will suddenly comes into your mind. So because I do not know if you experience that one, that suddenly a great idea will comes into your mind, and by that time, you have to write it down, or you have to jot it down, because later, that idea, you might forget, or forget those ideas, later. So that is one way, of having this writing motivation. Another one is self-confidence. According to Dr. Hawkins, if your self-confidence drops, try to boost your confidence by seeking positive feedback. Where are we going to seek this positive feedback? From your colleagues, from your professors, or from your research advisor. Okay, acknowledging your achievements so far. Do not have a we call this low self-esteem. Always be confident, that you can do it. Whatever it takes, you can finish your research on time. Stretching yourself by trying out new things could also help you, no, boost your confidence. So every researcher must have a high degree of confidence and must never give up easily. Even at one time, a research will seem to reach a dead end. However, if the researcher is sincere about gaining new knowledge, the research will eventually be a success. Okay, so one of boosting our confidence, is to aim that you will gain new knowledge. Okay, and that knowledge can be shared also to the community. Another one is time management. A systematic timetable will make life more manageable. So this is, I guess, no, standard operating procedure when you are doing your research, in proposal. You have timetable, you have the Gantt chart or the timeline. Okay, and you have to focus also, on your timeline. And software such as Google Calendar can be used for this purpose. Okay, that you will be alarmed, in your Google, through Google Calendar, that you are going to do such thing. Okay, and another one is to have a planner notebook. So if you have a planner notebook, write the important things that you need to do, in that particular date. Okay, so next is we have focus on direction. If you feel that your research is drifting, focus on your main objectives. So discuss with your supervisor where you think the project is going. Always consult, your research advisor, so that they can give you, advices, of course, from the word advisor, on what you are going to do. Because they are they already uh, undergone, the processes, as or they have experience also, as what we have experienced while doing our research. Take a short break, as you may just be bogged down with detail. Take a short break. Do not force yourself. As what I have said a while ago, that do not force yourself to write, in the middle of the night, because the result is not a good quality. Okay, so no, if your cells are already stressed, of course, you cannot have, a quality writing or a quality research. Take a short break. Go to beach, or some of us, we have this coffee break. No, I mean, let us also spend, some time, in treating ourselves. Okay, do not force, when you are tired. Do not force when you are stressed. And that is why, the important of having a smart objective. It means specific. Do not have a objective that is too broad. That is very impossible. And it should be measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based or time-bounded. The importance of having a smart objective. Another one is find support. So try to take opportunities to build up your support network. So you can have support like from your colleagues, from your classmates, of course, from your relatives, from your parents as well, from your siblings. Okay, so may it be emotional, may it be financial, or whatever support. Okay, so, and try to ask this question: are you using all of your key contacts enough? No, what I've did, no, when I'm doing my master's research. Okay, as what I have said, money is not my friend. So no, I always reach out, no, to my colleagues, to my co-teachers. I reach out, no, with my classmates and my friends. So find out if your department offers a mentoring scheme. If it does not, you can ask a more senior researcher whether they would be willing to give you some help and advice. No, that is a rule, no, of the senior researcher. And one of the good quality, no, of being a researcher, no, is that we are willing to give or to share the knowledge, no, and ideas we also gained, no, from our previous experiences. Try and work in teams if possible. So this one, no, this is what I did. No, our area is a natural uh, or a preserved forest, no, in here in our locality, no, watershed forest reserve. So in order for us, no, to save time and to save money as well, no, we work as pair, no, we work as team, while my partner is doing amphibians, no, research in amphibians. I am also doing in research about reptiles. So since when studying herpetofauna, no, we are employing the same method, no, for amphibians and reptiles. No, reptiles, uh, snakes, no, lizards. No, we have this idea that we work, no, as a team. So since the same method, no, we go there the same time, paying our laborers, no, we divided it equally. So improve your relationship with your advisor. No, this is always emphasized, no, that having a good relationship with your supervisor, no, could truly help you, because this is what I have experienced. No, that even my advisor also spent, no, some of her money, no, in supporting me in order to finish my field works, no, in the forest. Okay, and aside, no, from the moral support she extended, no, uh, because of having a good relationship with her, no, financially, and even in when I'm attending conferences, no, uh, she always have this support, no, financial support. Okay, that is the good thing of having a good relationship, no, with our supervisor or with our research advisor. So taking risks, so you can learn more from your failures than success. No, they are often catalyst for positive change in the medium long term. Okay, remember, no, that we are trained to be a researcher. Okay, so this is also what I've did, no, because at first my research focused more on aquatic ecology, particularly freshwater. So it was then that I changed my mind, no, that what if, no, I will switch to forest ecology, no, uh, taking another field, no, particularly the reptiles. No, I don't think so. No, if some of you love to handle snakes, no, or love to handle lizards. Okay, but the good thing when I took the risks, no, is that uh, my supervisor support me along in all aspects. No, and the also the partnership, no, I have, no, with the community, no, and with my pair. Okay, is the bonding, no, we have, no, is very great. Okay, next is background reading. So do background reading, no, related topics or researches, so such as journal articles. So this one, no, do not do not as we have practiced, no, that we are going to collect more articles, collecting more articles, no, and we will read them one by one. No, that is would cost us, no, time. Okay, so what I did, no, is just 3 to 5 research articles, no, from journals, and I have them synthesized. Okay, so what are the no contradicting ideas, no, what are the common ideas, no, this one could uh, have us, no, uh, I mean the time that we are going to spend, no, will be shortened, no, in reading articles. Next is know what you need. Okay, what information do you need to complete the research? What you have learned in class that relates to the research topic. So make a list. For example, what are the materials and equipment? No, are these available? No, maybe some of us are thinking researches, no, that the availability of materials, no, is insufficient, no, in our institution. Okay, and the research articles that we need, no, of course, in here, no, the financial, no, would always come in. Select sources, no, academic journal articles, no, including the peer-reviewed, the books, ebooks, the conference proceedings, no, and even news, no, they can help us a lot. Next, no, how we are going to select particularly the journal articles. Okay, so because there are so-called uh, predatory journals, no, and I don't think so if you are familiar with that, no, and how we are going to how I select my sources. No, I always go to the website of the Scopus and the Web of Science, no, and in that uh, no, I just scroll down and look for uh, journals, no, and articles. So however, not all journals provide articles for free. Okay, there are journals that are uh, uh, with for payment, no. So I use this research gate, no. This is a social media for researchers. So for instance, if that research articles, no, is not for free, no, using ResearchGate, no, we can communicate the authors directly. No, if you are going to request, no, the the author, okay, probably or surely, no, they are more than willing, no, to provide their research articles. And no, and good, no, for those institutions that have these applications or sources, no, that they can access journal articles uh, that are not which are not for or not free articles. Next is decide what will make it into your uh, paper. So after reading abstracts and articles, decide which articles to use to support the ideas and arguments in your paper. So is the article up to date? No, is it relevant to your research? Is the author an expert? Is the journal peer reviewed? Okay, so those are the things, no, that we are going to consider, no, when we are going to select, no, or when we are going to synthesize already, no, or having this review of related literature. Next is critical reading. So you are going to make judgment about how a text is argued. So don't read looking only or primarily for information, because mostly this is no most of us usually do know that we are just merely finding or looking for those information that we need for our research without uh, reading critically, or without having this thorough understanding. This is what we do. We are just going to read or to find or to look for those important ideas or knowledge that can be found in the article, okay, without reading comprehensively. So do read looking for ways of thinking about the subject matter. So when you are reading, highlighting or taking notes, avoid extracting and compiling lists of evidence, lists of facts and examples. As what I have uh, emphasized, that we are just merely looking for those important information that could support our claims, without reading comprehensively, or without reading the text, what is the argument all about. So another one is avoid approaching a text by asking, what information can I get out of it? Rather asks, how does this text work, or how is it argued? How is the evidence used and interpreted? How does the text reach its conclusions? So we should read critically, and uh, we should have this. Uh, of course, we are going to comprehend, with what we have read. So another one is integrate research into your own work. So consider the following as you read through research and write your paper. So have I provided enough relevant evidence to convince the reader of my claims? No, that is why we need every claims that we have. We need to support it with existing literature. Okay. Have I explained how the evidence supports my claims? Have I used innovative and current evidence rather than stating obvious outdated information? And another one is, have I cited the source of evidence? No, this one, so that we will not be charged with plagiarism. No, it is very important that we will cite the source of our sources. Okay. Another one is write in a scientific manner. So avoid figurative or parabolic statements. No, this is not allowed in science or in scientific writing. For instance, once upon a time, it was a beautiful day. That is not accepted. In the field of science, we should write concisely and precisely. Direct to the point. Okay, and have your paper checked by experts. One of which is our advisor. So it is very important, that from time to time, we have uh, good communication as well, with our advisor. So have them checked, first. Okay. So English or grammar must be properly checked. No, this is one of the challenges for us. No, uh, students, particularly, we are not a native English speaker. So maybe we can have our work checked by English major colleagues, or we have these online sources such as the Grammarly. Although the pro account is with payment, but they also provided account which are for free. At least the basic grammar no uh, might be corrected using online sources. Okay, reference the findings of previous work. Of course, citing the work of others is a must. So again, in avoid procrastinations. That is in our language here in Philippines, mamaya na habit, or do it later, because this is always one of the problems, no, to us, particularly young researchers, no, do it later because later, do it tomorrow, or after tomorrow, do it next day. So with that, no, if we have this procrastination attitude, no, it is very it is impossible or for us not to finish our research on time. And another one, no, you have to, or we have to share, no, our outputs to the community, because the community as well, no, can share also, no, a knowledge, okay, uh, to us. So for instance, no, in my research, in my master's thesis, no, after we have conducted, no, done with our writing, no, we presented, or I presented the work, my work, to the local government unit and to the community. With that, no, they also share knowledge to me, no, particularly no, the local names, no, of those organisms, no. And next, no, there is no shortcut, no, in doing research. No, this time and energy sacrifices are essential. So, no, may I end my presentation, no, with this quote from Zain et al. 2011. So, I hope, no, that you gained something new. No, may it not be new, no, at least additional input, no, on what are the possible challenges that we will experience as we go, no, with our graduate research, and what are the possible things, no, that we need to do in order to overcome those challenges. Okay, and thank you uh, to our researchers, and thank you for listening. So may I uh, have the floor to Dr. Arif?
Yeah, thank you
Dr.
very
Arif.
much, Mr. Jerry, for the very inspirative and also informative talk. From his talk, we gained many information regarding research management skills, for example, how to manage research and how to overcome the challenges when we do the research, right? And also the skills that needed to do research and also writing an article as well. So now we go to the Q&A or discussion session. If anyone from the audience wants to or have a question to Mr. Jerry Quadrado, you can directly raise your hand, or you can just put your question into the chat box. So while waiting for the question from the audience, I have a question for you, Mr. Jerry. So that was an interesting statement or sentence from your presentation or your talk about the self-reward. So we need to give ourselves a self-reward regularly in order to motivate ourselves, right? When we are drop or having a down or having a stress regarding the dead-end research, for example, uh, do you know, or maybe you have a trick how to distinguish between the motivation or an excuse or wasting our source when we do too much self-reward, or how do you determine that the self-reward is enough or when the self-reward is too much?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Dr. Arif. No, as what I have said, no, that self-reward is not always expensive. No, in my part, a for instance, a handkerchief, no, that cost on in my country 15 pesos would enough. No, as long as I can see new things, no, around me, uh, another one is you are going to treat yourself. No, it means, for instance, eating outside, not necessarily in an expensive restaurant. No, if I do not know. Maybe this street foods, no, is common, no, to us. No, having or eating, street foods, can makes us relax. No, and again, no, when we are doing research, as what I will repeat, no, that money will always be our enemy. So do not buy expensive things. No, uh, do not treat yourself in by having a dinner in expensive restaurant. No, for me, a ice cream, no, will do. No, we have that dirty ice cream in the Philippines. No, it will no, it can I found it relaxing. No, again, street foods, or no, it doesn't mean, no, that you have to expend or to spend money, no, when you are going to treat yourself. No, because we also have to balance, no, the particularly to those working students, no, that the money that we are spending, no, the budget. Okay, so I hope, no, I have answered your question, Dr. Arif.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. And now I have a follow-up question regarding the self-reward. For example, a student or a researcher have a self-reward in a ways or in a form of relax time, for example. How do you determine that the relax time is not a procrastinating to do the next work, for example? This is because sometimes people, maybe it's my time to do a self reward, for example, having relaxing time. But if you have a too long relaxing time, then you will have more piling up work to do, for example.
Yes, yes, sir. Um, Relaxing, for me, no, it doesn't mean that you are going to spend most of your times, taking vacation. That would prolong, no, your research. So relaxing, for me, is maybe if you have some vacant time, 1 or 2 hours, no, will can make you relax. No, even a nap, no, a nap in the afternoon, no, can make you relax. No, relaxing doesn't mean that you're going to take a long vacation. No, that will prolong, no, our research. No, maybe if you have favorite sport, say basketball, you can have that one, no, in short period of time that can make you relax. It means uh, what do you call this one? Unstressing, no, ourselves. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Arif.
Yeah, that's very inspirative. So we need to have also a self-control, right, when we do self-rewarding,
Yes, you're right,
for
Dr.
example.
Arif.
Yeah. So from the audience, if you have any question, you can just push the raise hand button directly so we can have a communicative discussion. Or if you want, you can also drop the question in the chat box in the Zoom so I can read your question to Mr. Jerry. So I have another question for Mr. Jerry about the high proficiency. When we write a research article, we need a high level of proficiency, right? In order to deliver the message effectively and also more efficient. But the problem is sometimes to get the high level language proficiency is not easy. Do you have any tips or trick how to get the high level proficiency?
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Arif. No, as also a research instructor, no, in my institution, I always advise, no, my students that research skills is not easy to get. No, you have to read, read articles, okay, that would support your claims, and by reading, no, those articles, no, you can come up, no, with idea. No, for instance, research articles or journal research articles, you can have an idea how this researchers, no, uh, or write their articles, no, how do these researchers um, make their research a high caliber or in quality, no, you have to read, no, research articles that can which can gain you some techniques, no, on how the researchers write their articles. Particularly, it is always a challenge for us non-native language speakers. And uh, another one is what I have said is have your work proofread by English majors, no, because if I can still remember, no, my paper was rejected because of language. No, it is always a and one of the suggestion of the reviewers is have your have your paper, no, checked by native English speaker. No, it's one way, no, that we can extend, no, or we can uh, what do you call this? Uh, we also need, no, expertise, no, from other fields, no, such as those who are taking English majors.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Jerry, for the trick and tips for increasing high-level proficiency of language. So there is one audience who raised the hand. Please, Rizal Muntashir, you can directly ask the question.
Thank you, Dr. Arif. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you clearly.
Okay, Dr. Cherry, I'd like to go deeper on your presentation about how to not conflicting with between student and advisor. Uh, I would like you to give more like insights or tips like how to not to get conflict with your advisor. First of all, when you when you have a new when you are offering a new method to your research, like how to present it well, how to explain it thoroughly to your advisor so that it will not get rejected by your advisor. And then the second question is it ethical, is it okay when you didn't see any progress on your research, you may uh, like looking for another advisor. That's it, I think.
Okay. Thank you for that
Thank you.
question, Sir Rizal. For me, uh, being polite, no, to your advisor, particularly if you are pursuing your graduate studies, no, in a foreign country. No, we have differences. We have uh, no, we have differences. Okay, so being polite, no, in approaching our advisor, no, is the best way of having this I mean advisee advisor relationship. So for the if you are going to present, no, present all the possibilities, no, that will come along the way, no, if you have another idea of on how you are going to do your research. So another one is it ethical, no, if you are going to replace, maybe it depends, no, on the culture, no, of the institution, no, if the advisor advisee relationship is no longer in good condition. So maybe for me, a letter, no, of request that you have to uh, change your uh, research advisor. Maybe it's is not a big deal at all. No, as long as you have a heavy reason, no, of replacing your research advisor. So that is why, no, I always emphasize, no, that having a good relationship, no, with your research advisor could help you a lot because they are more than willing to help you all the way because they experience also, know what we have experienced, no, while doing our researches. So I hope, Sir Rizal, no, I have answered your questions in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. How about Mr. Rizal Muntashir? Do you get the answer?
Yeah, I think I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Arif.
Thank you very much. Now we have another question from Miss Meti Agustini. Miss Meti, would you like to ask directly to Mr. Jerry?
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Arif. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jerry. Hello, thank you, Mr. Jerry.
Yes,
I
ma'am,
didn't
go ahead.
hear. Yeah, I didn't
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
you explain about plagiarism. So would you like to share to us your experience about checking plagiarism, maybe, or avoid plagiarism? Because sometimes we have tried to paraphrase the sentence of reference, but we are not sure is it plagiarism or not. Okay, that's all.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you for that question. Um, no, in terms of plagiarism, no, I think there will be another speaker no, on how we are going to publish our works, and part of that is plagiarism. But since this question no, was being raised no, during my talk, so we have good, in our institution we have this turn it in. No, we have this turn it in. Our institution subscribed for turn it in, so all the works we have no are subjected no using turn it in. No, that could lessen no the plagiarism or the similarity rate no with the other works. So it is true that even though you are paraphrasing and referencing as well the work of others, still that is plagiarism. And even yourself, we also have the term self plagiarism. So maybe for that the main thing is that the work or the entire statement no uh, is not being copied no. And for me, as long as not just paraphrase no, but you are making your own statement no, with the help no of the existing idea no, and as well as you are referencing no, or you are citing that particular author no is for me it's already okay no. And uh, it is always advised or for me that for us no, lucky for us no, that we have this turn it in no, we have this kind of we have this subscription no, and it is distributed no to other faculty members no, that could be used no in their research works. So maybe no, if I'm not mistaken, no, there will be another talk no for publishing research works, and one I know that one of which no is one of the interesting topics would be plagiarism.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
ma'am.
Jerry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jerry Quadrado, for the answer, and also thank you, Miss Meti, for the question. We have another question from Miss Octavina Kartika Putri. Would you like to ask directly, Miss Octavina? Maybe she is having problem with the internet connection, so I will just read her question from Miss Octavina. Mr. Jerry, how do I make a priority scale when I have to work at the same time running a doctoral education? Since both are important, money is important, and finish the doctoral on time is also important. How to make the priority scale?
Okay, thank you for that question, Ma'am Octavina. Okay, no, as going back no, to my presentation, no, that we have this, no, I presented the uh, planner notebook, no, we have the Google Calendar, no, by that time, no, maybe we can no we can have this time management on what will be our priority for that day, what will be our priority for the coming days. So in my experience, no, while doing my master's thesis, no, I am also teaching, no, in a senior high school class. Okay, so it's very difficult for me. So for instance, if ever I am going to have my field work, I need to file for a leave of absence. No, uh, we are doing our research uh, without compromising also our work. No, that is time management. No, while doing your research, let us not compromise our work. So setting priority, no, will be one of the important thing. So for instance, no, during Saturdays, uh, I have my lesson plans or I have my teaching materials prepared for teaching lessons on my senior high school class for Monday to Friday. So while having time, no, I have this vacant time, no, reading articles related to my, of course, research. So it's just a matter of time management, ma'am. So setting your priority could help us, you know, to have or to make, you know, our research done on time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jerry, for the answer. I hope the answer from Mr. Jerry already answered the question from Ms. Octavina. So if anyone from the audience would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand. Maybe while waiting for another question, I have another question for Mr. Jerry Quadrato. So when we are doing a research, sometimes or regularly or most of the time we face stuck or having a dead end in the research, right? When you can decide or when we should switch the focus of our research or when we should stay in the previous focus of our research when we have a stuck or dead end in our research.
Okay. Thank you for that question, Dr. Arif. So with that, you know, if you are already stuck, in your research and you are no longer moving, try to consult your advisor. Try to consult your advisor on what is the best thing to do or what are the best things to do. So, in my case, at the start, I already planned, what will be my research all about. So, and it is also in our knowledge, that before we will be admitted, to the graduate school, of our institution, we already have our research proposal or the research topic. So in every, this is what I did. Uh, in our institution here in Caraga State University of the Philippines, uh, per subject or in each subject we are required to do research. And while doing this research, I always see to it that the research I am doing for this particular subject, could help me, could give me important or relevant data in my research or in my thesis. So that is what I do. So, for instance, we have a research in freshwater ecology. So since then, my site or area of study is a freshwater or is a watershed forest reserve. So I conducted my study in that particular area. So uh, it's a it's a collecting data, and those data could help me no uh, in my thesis. Okay, and for the question, when we are going to switch, maybe the thing there, is you have to take the risks. Taking risks is very difficult, and because you are going to start, the very beginning, of course, when you are going to switch. No, but before switching, no, you have to think first, no, the possibilities, or again the challenges that will comes along your way. So I hope, no, I have answered your question, sir. Consulting your advisor uh, would be the best thing to do when you are already stuck, because they can assist you for sure, no, with that matter.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jerry, for the answer. So we need to consider many things before deciding whether to switch our focus in the research, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So is there any other question from the audience? If you would like to ask, you can push the raise hand button in the Zoom, or just drop ask the question in the chat. While waiting, I have another question. Maybe I'm sorry for having many questions for you, Mr. Jerry. So
It's okay, sir. No,
yeah.
it's
So
entertaining.
so because when we are doing research, we always have a hypothesis. So when we have hypothesis, sometimes when we are not really sincere, we will have a personal bias when we do research or when we do experiments, for example. So do you have tips how to prevent or minimize the personal bias in doing research or doing experiments, for example?
Okay, in terms of hypothesis, no, particularly no in my field, no in ecology, we did not apply this so-called hypothesis, no. For instance, no, during experimentation, no, to maybe to avoid biases, no, while doing experimentation, uh, maybe you have to set, we call this, I think, no, I am not so into experimentation, no, because my field is in ecology, no, or biodiversity, no, assessment. So in you have to set more replicates, I think, no, to avoid biases, no. We have this in experimentation, no, replicates, no, of our samples. uh, Maybe that would lessen, no, the biases, no, in our result. No, do not just merely rely on three replicates. Maybe you can have more, no, in order for that biases to be avoided. So maybe in my opinion, no, my suggestion, since in my field, no, we don't have this so much hypothesis, no, we are not into experimentation, I hope.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, of course. Thank you very much for the suggestion. So I have another question about the writing articles or research articles. You said, or you stated in your presentation about the scientific manner in writing research article, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I read somewhere that the new way of writing research article is in an active form, while in the old way or old-fashioned way, we use the passive form usually. So the confusing things is maybe when we submitted our manuscript to a journal, for example, and then we get the reviewer who is using the old-fashioned way. So he or she or the reviewer asked us to change our writing style from the active form into passive form, which is not really a good way in a scientific manner. What would you do in that case, actually?
Okay, so in terms of active, no, and in writing research articles, no, particularly in scientific writing, no, maybe, no, as what I have suggest, no, a while ago, that uh, we have also limitations, and that uh, we can't be master of everything or jack of all trades. So as it is suggested in my experience as well, that I have my work always checked by an English major, because I in terms of language, and language or in grammar, no we cannot always rely on our experience or what we have learned from our studies, but just the same thing that we do, that our works should be checked by expert. Just the same thing in terms of language, have our work always checked by English language majors. And for sure that all institutions have this kind of department, or English department or languages department. So maybe yeah, that's it, sir. No, all I can say that or can suggest that uh, also I learned from my professors that uh, when you are going to write, um, uh, we should write in a scientific manner, or we should avoid hyperbolic or personifications, flowery words, and we should be direct, as much as possible. So I hope I have answered your question again, Dr. Arif, with that matter about language and
Yes,
grammar.
yes. Thank you very much for the suggestions. So for the audience, I just remind you every time, if you have a question or would like to ask directly, you can just push the raise hand button in the Zoom, or just drop your question in the chat. So regarding the scientific article, the research article, you stated that we can also use a research page to ask the author to send us the articles, right? So
Yes, sir.
I have read somewhere that maybe distributing an article which has a copyright from the publisher, although via the ResearchGate, may also breach the rule of the legal distribution. What do you think about this? Because sometimes I also search an article from the ResearchGate, and some of the author refuse to send the articles due to the legal rule. Do you have any opinion about this?
Okay. In terms with that, sir, if I think or I guess if the author knows that there are that they are following legal basis in distributing, in terms of distributing their articles. So I think if they will violate the rule, no uh, maybe they will not distribute their research article if they knew that they are violating the rule. But for sure, no, that these researchers, or these scientists, are kind enough, in in uh, in sharing, their outputs as well. No, they can share. No, if they knew that there are no rules, to be violated. Na- I mean, if no rules will be violated, they can provide. But in terms of legal basis, maybe or the legality of distributing, because we also have this in some journals, copyright. Uh, maybe yeah, as what I have said, if the authors know that there will be rules to be violated, for sure they will not distribute. They will not send you.
Yeah, thank you. So it's still in the gray area. It's not really the white or black area, still in the gray area, right? So thank you, Mr. Jerry, for the answer. I have one last question from my side. So if from the audience have another question, you can raise your hand or put your question in the chat, into the chat. So I have one last question about the background reading. So do you have maybe when we should do the background reading in particular time? For example, whether we need to do background reading when before the article writing or before starting to do research. What do you think?
Okay. For me, background reading, must be done first, prior. We have this term background. So before writing, your paper, see to it that you already have enough idea, no, before you are going to write, your proposal through background reading. Just the same, when we have our when we are going to have our fieldworks, we have this ocular visit first, to our sampling area, before doing, the before doing the fieldworks. We have this ocular visit. So in terms of background reading, of course, before writing, see to it that you are done already, in doing background or background reading. Okay, so enabling for us not to have sufficient idea of what we are going to write. Okay, I hope that I have answered again your question, Dr. Ari. Hello, Dr. Arif. Hello.
Dr. Arif, we cannot hear your voice.
I
Can you hear my voice now?
Dr. Arif,
Dr.
can
Arif.
hear your voice. Oh,
Ma'am Danya, I think
yes,
Dr. Arif is
yes.
experiencing some technicalities. No?
Okay. Does any participant have another question for Mr. Jerry?
Test. Can you
Okay.
now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Arif.
Sorry for the problem.
It's okay.
Yeah. So because there is no further question, I think we can finish this talk. A very nice talk from Mr. Jerry. Thank you very much for giving us a very nice talk, very informative and also inspirative talk, as well as very good discussion. So maybe before we close the talk, would you like to give a concluding remarks for us?
Yes, sir. Okay. So again, the thing, that we should have, in ourselves is that we have the confidence, the perseverance, that the eagerness, that we can make it, no, uh, our research, will be done on time, so that of course the very goal there, is for us to graduate on time, and of course uh, to share, the knowledge, the results, of our research, that would surely, benefit the community. So the challenges, are just part, of doing graduate research, but our goal, which is to contribute new knowledge is more important, than those challenges that we are facing right now. So just believe, just believe in yourself. Again, the very important thing is you have a good relationship with your advisor, because that is that is the best thing that we can make our research done on time, having a good relationship to our colleagues as well, and to our professors, because they will always help you, along your way. So again, I would like to thank the ITS as well as the ITS Global Engagement, for this opportunity, in sharing my experiences, while doing my researches, and to Ma'am Dania and Ma'am Nabila, thank you. To Dr. Arif, thank you for the questions, sir. I also gained knowledge, and information from the questions you raised. And to the participants, thank you for listening. And I know that we can do it, as a neophyte researchers. Our contribution, would have a great impact to our country. Thank you, and good evening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jerry Quadrado, for the concluding remarks. So I will give back to the MC for the moderation. Ms. Nabila, please, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jerry, for the excellent lecture and Q&A session today. And thank you, Dr. Arif, for moderating this amazing session. Please give applause to our speaker and moderator by using the Zoom reaction feature for today's amazing session. And then we would like to present a certificate awarding for our honorable speaker and moderator. This is the certificate presented for Mr. Jerry. Next, the certificate for Dr. Arif, our moderator today. Once again, thank you very much to our speaker and moderator for your availability on today's session. Before we wrap up the session, we would like to invite all participants as well as our honorable speaker and moderator to have a group photo. For participants, please turn on the camera. Okay, we will start in 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Now we have finished the group photo. For the participants, please fill the feedback form through the link that you can see on the Zoom chat room. We want to remind you, the participant who will get the certificate is the participant who come on time, join this event until the end, and fill the feedback form. Before we part, I would like to inform you that we still have several future agendas in R2SEP for Sciences stream. You can see it on the poster we are showing you right now, or you can check it out on ITS Global Engagement website later. We will see you in the next session. Finally, we have reached the end of today's researcher and research student program, and we sincerely apologize for any mistakes we might have made in presenting as master ceremony and committee. Speaker, moderator, and all participants for the attention and cooperation. Once again, thank you everyone for today. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye. See you next time, Mr. Jerry. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jerry.
Thank you, Dr. Arif.
Everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Dania and Dr. Nabila. Thank you for the invite. And hope to see you in personal. Maybe soon. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry, Dr. Kuman, and all participants.